Welcome back everyone to Small Talk. I just wanted to do a brief update today on the stock market's current situation, what has been happening in the stock market in the past, what happened to Tesla, what's going on with Tesla in the near future, and what to expect going into 2025. We'll talk about all this in this video. Let's start with what happened since the Fed chairman has spoken about the rate cuts in his FOMC meeting. He was a little bit dovish than he was a little more dovish than market had expected. Obviously, the market had expected him to be dovish, but not as dovish. Market was expecting to have maybe 3 rate cuts instead of having 4, but he jumped from being 4 rate cuts back down to 2 rate cuts going into 2025, and then a 1/4% or 25 basis points rate cuts in December. With him going from 4 rate cuts to 2 rate cuts, some people were afraid that if they are even going to have any rate cuts in 2025 at all. But of course, that all depends on the inflation reports and inflation data. So when he decided that he's going to do only 2 rate cuts possibly in going into 2025, I guess market was trying to digest and it was throwing tantrum because it didn't know if those rate cuts are going to actually take place or not. Secondly, whether they're going to have 1 rate cut in January and maybe one later in the year, or how they are going to do it, so that market can predict what to expect going into 2025. And I think it took a couple of days for the market to digest it all. So of course the stocks crashed the first day after the Fed chair spoke. The next day, there was a big turnaround, and market was doing well because we had inflation data which was better than expected. So that kind of put some positivity into the market, and market started going up. But then it kind of sold down. So I call this like the market was going sideways the day following the Fed meeting. Tesla, however, dropped not only because of that, but there were a couple other reasons why Tesla dropped as well. First, they had about 700,000 vehicles recalls because of some technical issue for regarding air pressure that the computer was not recognizing the air pressure on the Tesla vehicles. Usually, when there's a recall on these vehicles, because they're EVs, it's only a software update which could fix the problem. But I guess it went down so much because it's like an ongoing problem for Tesla that every so often, every once in a while, or every few months, they have to recall all their vehicles, which means they're not able to control all aspects of the EVs so that they don't have to keep recalling and updating the software. That was the reason why it collapsed. Number one, of course, the Fed meeting, the rate cut uncertainty. Number two, they had a vehicle recall. And number three, the entire market again went down because of the fears of the government shutdown. It's not that we've never had government shutdowns before. We've been having it, I don't know, as soon as I can remember, or as far as I can remember. I wouldn't think that would have had a very big impact on the stock market. Not a major one, but it would definitely have some impact on the stock market, and I guess that's what happened. So the market was freaking out a little bit, and then that danger is out of the way now. So starting yesterday, starting today. So let's talk about the market action today. What happened today? So in my opinion, if you recall my previous videos, I often talk about in December there is tax harvesting. So lots of people who made lots of money, they are losing some money in some of their debt stocks or zombie stocks that I call them. They probably want to sell out of those stocks to offset the capital gains, to kind of write off those losses against those gains so they don't have to pay the taxes. So last week, of course, with the Fed chair meeting, the government shutdown threats, and then tax season harvesting, they were all taking place in the past 3 or 4 days. And I think that's all out of the way now. And today was, I think, the day one of the Santa Claus rally, which usually takes place at the end of December. So a few people who are left maybe in tax harvesting the last day or so, there may be a little bit more sell-off. because people who are making lots of money in this hyped up market, the Santa Claus rally market, going into 2025, some of them might want to take some profit and also might want to take some losses. So I think at the end of December, the last day possibly, there will be still some sell off again, but I think most of it has been already done and out of the way. So that's clear now. Going into 2025, however, I would say that you have to be very, very cautious because most of the stocks are already very high priced as is. And then come 2025, January 20th is the inauguration day for Trump 2.0. That's, by the way, Martin Luther King Day, so we have a day off that day from the stock market, so you guys can enjoy his ceremony that day. But I think as soon as he gets into the office, it depends what kind of executive orders he's going to issue. Plus, there's a threat of international geopolitical situation. We don't know which direction he's going to lean towards. That's also another uncertainty the stock market wouldn't like. And then he is also talking about imposing I'm losing my words again. He's also talking about imposing international imports freight. Thank you. And there's a fear of that as well. So we will see which direction the market will go. And I think after January 18th, I'll be a little bit cautious. Maybe I'll take some profits at that point. Tesla had a huge run today. It ran up about $30 starting this morning until in the afternoon. It was even running in after hours, though it was only half trading day in the stock market. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was NVDA. I think Tesla is definitely going to hit $500 target that I had. Probably, I hope it happens before the end of the year, but definitely going into January 2025, I think it's going to happen. After the inauguration day, of course, right after that, we have their quarterly earnings season starts. So I think that is also going to determine which way the market is gonna go. For Tesla, as far as I'm concerned, I think Tesla is going to have a great fourth quarter for two reasons. First, their Cybertruck. So I'm not feeling well today, so I'm just losing my chain of thought. So Cybertruck is going to be a big thing to look at, how many trucks they've sold, what was the revenue that they've collected, and I think the Cybertruck has been doing very well in the market. The trucks usually sell less than the sedan cars anyway, but among all the trucks that have been selling in the past, they've been selling quite a few trucks every week, and the number is exceeding. They also got a very good report from China that their sales number and their delivery numbers are exceeding every other week. We hear something, actually every week we hear something that they're doing very well in China. So I think their fourth quarter earnings are going to be great. Their outlook, as Elon Musk has already said, he's expecting it to grow 20 to 30% next year. I don't know about his robotaxi ride hailing, how far is that going to go, but I think the main reason why Tesla is going up is obviously the Cybertruck income, and robotaxi is obviously also on the list as well, and their new car that they're going to introduce in the early part of 2025. So their fourth quarter revenue is going to be great because of the large number of sales in Cybertrucks, and people are trying to take advantage of the $7,500 tax credit, which ends on January 1st going into next year of 2025. So people are going to buy Tesla so they can get that credit. So their sales are automatically going to increase in the fourth quarter. Now let's talk about NVDA. NVDA has been on my radar because it had ran up so much, but then since their last earning, the market had overreacted to their very good earning report because it was very good, but it wasn't good enough for the market because they were expecting this and then some. So it had gone down quite a bit. It actually had went into the correction territory, and then I can think the lowest it hit was $128. Now it's going up, and I think lots of people who were waiting on the sideline, they took that as a buy the dip opportunity, and they all are riding the wave already. So NVIDIA has been talked about a lot in the stock market. So lots of people, so some people sold out. The big companies probably sold out, took some profit because it was the end of the year, end of the fourth quarter almost. People had to do their tax harvesting. People had to do their quarterly or yearly reports as well. The big ETFs and hedge funds I'm talking about. And then of course, retail sells just following suit to the big institutions. So they sell and they take some profits as well, which I call the penny flippers. These kind of stocks, NVIDIA, Tesla, Microsoft, Broadcom, what else? Amazon, Google, all these things, Meta. These are the stocks that you should be investing in long term. You can, of course, trade them on the side as well, just to make some quick money, but you should have definitely long term investment into these companies. And your goal should be where the stock is going to be in the next 5 years. That's when you're going to get the most benefit out of these stocks. But that doesn't mean you can't swing trade and day trade on these stocks. Of course you can, because they can make you lots of money as well if you're good at doing day trading and swing trading. I personally don't do this. Today was the only day when I followed one of my penny flipper friend, and I did day trade and I made a couple $100, but that was so lame. I just wasted literally half of my day and I made $200. I'm not very good at day trading because I don't have that decision power when to sell when it's like going up and down throughout the day. So that's not something that I'm very good at it, and I can't decide whether this is the time to sell or I should wait longer. So, but if you're pro and you think that you have that decision power where you can sell multiple times a day, go for it and make some money. But long term, investment and investment is very important for these big mega cap companies or mid cap companies as well. Um, so Broadcom, I think, is a very good buy. So I'm going to suggest a few stocks that you should definitely keep on your radar and see where you want to buy them. So I would say Broadcom, NVIDIA definitely, Tesla if you're already invested into it, just hold on to it, don't sell it yet. If there's any further dip, like if it went to 430, if it goes to 430 again, I would say that's a good point to buy the dip at that moment. There are some new stocks that I came across, and I think I have mentioned them in the before, like Serve Robotics, NVIDIA and Uber. They're both invested into those stocks, and also Archer Aviation. Kathy Wood has bought into that company, and that's the one I day traded today, and I made $260 on it. It was like a small trade just for $1,000, but it was like $20. I mean, 20%, 25% profit for me, so I can't complain. Um, but I just invested a very small amount just to see how it goes. Those are some of the very good stocks which are really going to grow and going into next year. Um, Also, AMD, I think you can definitely, I don't know if I would hold AMD long term, but I can definitely see it being a swing trade, a juicy opportunity maybe for a couple of months, if you can ride it now and then sell maybe in the early part of January, like before the inauguration and before the earning reports, etc. The other stock I wanted to talk about was Alibaba. I saw a report today on Google which said that this is one of the cheapest e-commerce stock that exists out there, and they're trading at the 10% of their earning per share forward EPS, which means it has potential to go up quite a bit, and it could go up as high as up to 50% of its current price, which is still lower than I had bought in the past. I bought it very expensive, and I'm like 50% down on that stock. Maybe it's time for me to add to my position and maybe dollar cost average and then sell it if it brings me to positive. Um, so that's one stock that I'm losing money, but I think it's time for me to invest some more money in it. I think if it goes down to $73, $74 level, I would probably buy some more stocks and average down my cost basis, and then I would sell if it goes up 50% as it has been predicted in one of the reports that I was reading today. So Alibaba, I think, is fine, but it's not going to give you that quick, momentous growth. I'm looking going into 2025 more of the stocks which will make me quick money. So Archer Aviation, Serve Robotics, AMD, NVDA, and there are a few other names. I have them written down on the counter. Maybe I can put those in my next video. These are some of the stocks which I think are going to grow significantly. They have more growth potential than Alibaba and them guys. And I will definitely invest some money into those. As I'm selling some of my old stocks, I'm going to put money into those new ones that I've just mentioned so that I can ride the wave and I can make some money and maybe offset some of the losses that I have from the past. So going into 2025, I think stock market rally is going to keep going until the end of the year, going into January of 2025. And then I would be cautious before January 20th, before the inauguration, because I don't know what kind of executive orders Trump 2.0 is going to have on day one. And then earning report starts right after that, so I don't like to play earnings because it's very risky. Sometimes stock goes way high and then sometimes it just collapses even on good earnings, like what happened to NVIDIA. So before the earnings, I'm not going to buy into any stock just to play the earning season. So I think January is going to be, and then they have, of course, their CPI release and then the FOMC meeting following that. So there are quite a bit of events that are coming up. But up until I think January 18th, the market should rally. It should keep going up until something significant happens, which is not supposed to happen. But if given the situation, if things stay the way they are, market still has lots of potential to go up next year. I'm very optimistic and very hopeful. I think most of the bad news is out of the way for us for now, until Trump in Trump's inauguration and he gets into the office. Then we'll see which direction and which kind of regulatory laws is he going to pass, and then how is that going to impact the market. Plus, next month's CPI report is also going to show how the inflation is. Plus, Fed chair will also tell us their tone, whether they're going to do 2 rate cuts or they're going to do no rate cuts, and if so, and if they're doing the rate cuts, when they're going to do them, whether they're doing it in January and then pause for a few months and then do them again, or they're just going to do maybe 1 rate cut towards the middle of the year, end of the year. So we'll have more clarity, I guess, come January. So for now, for the next 2 to 3 weeks, 3 weeks roughly, I think I'm very hopeful. I'm very optimistic, and I'm going to keep holding my Tesla. If you haven't started position in NVIDIA, I think it's a good time to buy. It's probably going to go up to 145 easily, so you can still make a good amount of money on NVIDIA if you want to do swing trade. But my advice to you would be keep it a long-term investment, because that's where you're going to make most of your money in NVIDIA. They've already, their BlackRock chips are already selling out like hotcakes, and their new chip is already ready to be launched. So one of their chip costs like about $50,000, so they're very expensive. That's why they're making lots of money, and they're growing very fast. So Apple, I really don't look at Apple much because I've never traded Apple. I've never invested in Apple. I bought Apple shares in the very early days of my investment, when I was very new to the investing and I had no idea what I was doing. So Apple sounded like a good company to me and I bought it. But it was so slow for me because I was investing mainly into the small cap stocks at the time, which were giving me 100%, 200% gain in one day. And then here I bought Tesla, of course, large cap companies. Their growth is much smaller, and I didn't know that. So I just sold out of them after making a couple dollars per share. And I never looked at Apple since then. I guess I just lost that appetite for Apple. But Apple has been doing well, and I think it's a good company to buy right now because their new phones with the AI technology and their iPads and then their laptops, obviously they're going to sell because of their AI technology upgrade. And I think there's a more room to grow, and you can make some money off of Apple. I personally probably wouldn't invest. Maybe I'll do a day trading like I did today, $1,000, $2,000, make a couple $100 if I see a trend going up for a particular day. But as I said, I don't usually trade stocks. I'm just an investor, and I invest for at least a year, 6 months to a year, I should say. I try to hold them for a year so I don't have to pay short-term capital gain. But if I feel like the stock has ran up so much and from this point it's probably going to go down a little bit, so I don't mind taking some profits at that point and then buy back in when it goes lower. That's my update for the day. Sorry if I'm if I couldn't speak very clear. I'm just my brain is very foggy. I'm not feeling well, and I decided to make this video to kind of do a brief update because I haven't done videos in the past 5 days, and so much has happened in the past 5 days, and I just wanted to give everybody hope that we've already started Santa Claus rally. So be confident and invest into the market. You can ride the wave for a week until the year end or for the next 2 or 3 weeks, or you can hold it longer term. It's really up to you and based off of your own personal financial situation. So you decide whatever suits you. Of course, it's not a personalized financial advice, but that's what my plan is. That's what I'm going to do. I hope this video helps. Please give my video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please share your comments in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you, and stay tuned for my upcoming lecture series starting January, which is going to be most probably, I'll try to do at least one lecture a week if I can find time, but that's what my goal is, to do one lecture a week. It won't be too long, maybe 15 to 20 minutes, 25 minutes, half an hour the most, because I know it's very boring and people will just lose track if I make it too long. So I'd rather make so many small episodes versus just having a one big lecture on each topic. I think it will be easier for people to comprehend who are really interested, and we'll take it from there. So until next video, take care and good luck out there.